On the western edge of South America, nestled between Colombia and Peru, lies Ecuador, a country that, despite its modest size, is a living testament to the power of nature's diversity. Here, the land is sculpted by ancient forces, and the boundaries between worlds are drawn not by human hands but by mountains, rivers, and the restless sea. Ecuador is a sanctuary for life in all its forms. Within its borders, an astonishing array of creatures thrives, each perfectly adapted to their unique environment. From the iridescent wings of hummingbirds darting through emerald foliage to the secretive jaguar padding silently beneath the rainforest canopy, the country is alive with movement and color. This extraordinary abundance is possible because Ecuador is not a single world, but a convergence of three distinct realms. The mighty Andes Mountains rise like a colossal backbone, dividing the country into separate domains, each with its own climate, terrain, and cast of wild inhabitants. To the east, the Amazon rainforest stretches endlessly, a labyrinth of tangled vines and ancient trees shrouded in perpetual mist. Here the air is thick with humidity, and every surface teems with life. Poison dart frogs glisten on mossy trunks, and troops of monkeys leap from branch to branch, their calls echoing through the green twilight. Far to the west, beyond the mainland's reach, the Galapagos Islands emerge from the Pacific like a vision from another world. Volcanic and raw, these islands are isolated by 1,000 kilometers of open ocean, their shores battered by waves and their rocky slopes home to creatures found nowhere else on Earth. The Andes Mountains, ancient and unyielding, are the architects of this natural mosaic. Their jagged peaks pierce the clouds, forcing moist air from the Amazon to rise and condense, drenching the eastern slopes in rain and nurturing dense, impenetrable jungle. On the western side, the mountains cast a rain shadow, giving rise to misty cloud forests, and, further down, the sun-drenched Pacific lowlands. This dramatic division creates a patchwork of habitats, each with its own microclimate. The eastern slopes are cloaked in lush, dripping jungle, where waterfalls tumble over mossy rocks and the air is alive with the calls of unseen birds. On the western slopes, the cloud forest is a world of perpetual twilight, where moss-draped trees reach for the filtered sunlight, and rare orchids bloom in the mist. Over countless generations, these natural barriers have driven evolution in remarkable ways. Species that once shared a common ancestor have been separated by mountains and rivers, evolving in isolation into entirely new forms. In the Amazon, a frog's call may never reach its cousin on the other side of the Andes, and so over millennia their colors, shapes, and behaviors diverge. The result is a living laboratory of adaptation, where geography sculpts the very essence of life. The contrast between these three worlds are profound, each region a universe unto itself, shaped by the relentless forces of wind, water, and time. Imagine descending into the Amazon, where the forest floor is a mosaic of fallen leaves and tangled roots, and every shadow hides a secret. Monkeys swing through the canopy, their fur catching the dappled sunlight, while jewel-bright frogs cling to the undersides of leaves, their skin warning of potent toxins. Climb higher, and the air grows thin and cold. The Andes grasslands, or paramo, stretch to the horizon, swept by icy winds. Here the elusive spectacled bear roams, foraging among the tussocks, while condors soar overhead, riding the updrafts along the ridgelines. Journey onward, and the world changes again. The Galapagos Islands are a realm of fire and stone, where black lava flows meet turquoise seas. Here, marine iguanas bask on sun-baked rocks before slipping into the surf to graze on underwater algae, and blue-footed boobies perform their intricate courtship dances on the sand. Each of these worlds presents its own challenges: floods and droughts in the rainforest, freezing nights in the high Andes, and the harsh, arid terrain of the Galapagos. The animals that survive here have evolved extraordinary strategies: camouflage, mimicry, migration, and even the ability to swim in the sea or thrive on volcanic rock. In this journey, we will delve into the heart of the rainforest, where sunlight filters through a cathedral of green, and every step reveals a new marvel. We will ascend the Andean peaks, where the world falls away beneath our feet, and the silence is broken only by the wind. And we will set sail for the Galapagos, landing on shores where evolution's most daring experiments play out in real time. Along the way, we will encounter some of the planet's most remarkable animals. The solitary, spectacled bear, the only bear species in South America, and the marine iguana, a lizard that has mastered the ocean's depths. Yet even in these wild sanctuaries, danger lurks. The delicate balance that sustains this biodiversity is threatened by forces both natural and human-made: deforestation, climate change, and the relentless expansion of civilization. Many species now walk a razor's edge between survival and extinction. Ecuador's wild riches are a legacy of unimaginable value, a living archive of evolution's creativity. But they are fragile, and their future depends on our understanding, respect, and protection. In the chapters ahead, we will uncover their secrets, marvel at their resilience, and confront the urgent challenges that threaten their existence. To the east of the mighty Andes, a vast emerald expanse stretches as far as the eye can see, a world perpetually cloaked in mist and nourished by relentless rain. This is the Ecuadorian Amazon, a living tapestry woven from countless shades of green, where the air itself seems to pulse with vitality. Here, in this remote corner of the planet, the Amazon reveals its astonishing abundance. It is a fragment of the largest rainforest on Earth, a place where life flourishes with a complexity and density found nowhere else. Every inch of this forest is alive. On the shadowy floor, a thick carpet of decaying leaves and fungi forms the foundation of the ecosystem, while high above, sunlight filters through a mosaic of leaves, illuminating a world teeming with activity. The air is saturated with sound, a ceaseless chorus of life. The relentless drone of insects forms the backdrop, punctuated by the sharp croaks of frogs hidden among the foliage. Birds call from distant branches, while the faint rustle of leaves betrays the movement of unseen creatures navigating the undergrowth. This intricate soundscape is the living heartbeat of the forest, a testament to the millions of species that coexist here. Each organism, from the tiniest ant to the largest mammal, plays a role in a delicate, ever-shifting balance of survival and cooperation. The Amazon's architecture is a marvel of natural engineering. Like a living skyscraper, the forest is divided into distinct layers, each with its own unique community of plants and animals. At the summit, the emergent layer towers above all else. Here, colossal trees, some reaching over 60 meters, pierce the canopy, their crowns basking in unfiltered sunlight. These giants withstand fierce winds and intense storms, providing perches for raptors and homes for epiphytes clinging to their branches. Just below, the canopy forms a dense, interlocking roof of leaves and branches. This is the engine room of the rainforest, where photosynthesis powers the ecosystem and a vast array of life finds shelter, food, and opportunity. Within this leafy metropolis, agile monkeys leap from branch to branch, sloths move with deliberate slowness, and flocks of brilliantly colored birds dart through shafts of sunlight. Each species has evolved to exploit the resources and avoid the dangers of this bustling aerial world. Descending into the understory, the light dims and the air grows heavy with moisture. Here, plants with broad leaves stretch to capture the faintest rays, and animals have adapted to a world of shadows. Silent hunters and elusive prey, moving through a labyrinth of trunks and vines. On the forest floor, decomposition reigns. Fallen leaves and branches are swiftly broken down by fungi, insects, and bacteria, returning vital nutrients to the soil. Amidst this constant recycling, the agouti, a robust rodent, scours the ground for seeds and fruit, playing a crucial role in dispersing the next generation of trees. Water is the Amazon's lifeblood, shaping every aspect of its existence. Rain falls almost daily, beading on leaves and saturating the earth, while countless streams and rivers weave through the jungle, sustaining life at every turn. Fed by the melting snows of the Andes, mighty rivers carve their way through the forest, forming a labyrinth of channels and oxbow lakes. These waterways are vital arteries supporting rare creatures like the pink river dolphin and the powerful giant otter, both perfectly adapted to this aquatic world. With the changing seasons, these rivers overflow their banks, transforming vast tracts of forest into temporary lakes. Trees stand half-submerged, their roots anchoring them against the current, while new habitats emerge for countless aquatic and terrestrial species. As the waters rise, fish glide among the submerged trunks, feasting on fruits and seeds that fall from above. This seasonal bounty fuels explosive bursts of life as animals synchronize their breeding and feeding to the rhythms of the flood. The seamless interplay between land and water is the secret to the Amazon's extraordinary productivity. Every organism, from the smallest insect to the largest predator, is attuned to the cycles of rain and flood, drought and abundance, in a world that is never static. Survival here is a relentless contest. Every creature, plant and fungus is locked in a perpetual struggle for sunlight, nutrients and space. Ingenious strategies, camouflage, mimicry, speed and strength have evolved over millennia, shaping a community where only the most adaptable thrive. Among the forest's most dazzling inhabitants is the Helena blue morpho butterfly. Its journey is a marvel of transformation, a testament to the power of adaptation and change. The cycle begins with a single delicate egg hidden on the underside of a leaf. From this fragile start, a voracious caterpillar emerges, its sole purpose to eat and grow, consuming leaf after leaf with tireless determination. When the time is right, the caterpillar weaves itself into a chrysalis, a sealed chamber, where, over the course of 2 weeks, its body is broken down and rebuilt in a process as mysterious as it is miraculous. At last, the adult butterfly emerges, its wings a brilliant iridescent blue that flashes through the dim forest light. With a wingspan reaching 12 centimeters, it glides through the understory, searching for a mate and continuing the ancient cycle of life in this endlessly dynamic, fiercely competitive world. Deep within the emerald labyrinth of the Ecuadorian Amazon, life pulses with a raw, untamed energy. Here, among the towering trees and tangled vines, some of the rainforest's most iconic creatures make their presence known, not with sight but with sound. Few are as unmistakable as the mantled howler monkey, whose voice is the very heartbeat of the jungle. These are not the small, nimble primates one might expect. Mantled howler monkeys are robust and muscular, their thick black fur blending seamlessly with the shadowy canopy. When a troop gathers high above the forest floor, their presence is felt long before it is seen, as their thunderous calls reverberate through the trees. The secret to their extraordinary volume lies in the anatomy of the males. Deep within their throats, a specially enlarged hyoid bone acts as a resonating chamber, amplifying their roars to a level that can drown out even the constant hum of insects and the patter of rain. As the first light of dawn filters through the mist, and again as dusk settles, the forest comes alive with a chorus of deep guttural bellows. These roars can travel for several kilometers, cutting through the dense foliage and echoing across river valleys, a primal announcement of territory and presence. Despite their intimidating sound, these vocalizations are not a call to battle. Instead, they are a sophisticated form of communication, a way for troops to establish boundaries and avoid unnecessary conflict in a world where every calorie counts. By broadcasting their presence, howler monkeys can claim vast swathes of forest without ever coming face to face with rivals. This strategy minimizes the risk of injury and conserves precious energy, a vital adaptation in the competitive world of the canopy. Yet the treetops are not ruled by monkeys alone. Among the branches, Flashes of color reveal another of the Amazon's treasures, the toucans. These birds are living jewels, their plumage a riot of iridescent hues that stand out against the endless green. The yellow-throated toucan and the choco toucan are among the most striking, their enormous, vividly colored beaks impossible to overlook. These beaks, often longer than the bird's own head, are masterpieces of natural engineering. At first glance, such a massive beak might seem unwieldy, but its structure is a marvel of lightweight design. Composed of a network of hollow, honeycomb-like bone, the beak is both strong and surprisingly light, allowing the toucan to maneuver with agility among the branches. This remarkable tool serves many purposes. With it, toucans can reach fruit growing on the thinnest, most precarious branches, places their bodies could never go. The beak's dexterity allows them to pluck, peel, and manipulate food with astonishing precision. But the beak is more than just a feeding implement. Its sheer size and bold coloration serve as a warning to would-be predators, signaling that the toucan is not an easy target. In the intricate dance of survival, even appearance can be a powerful defense. Yet not all of the Amazon's wonders are large or flamboyant. Some of its most extraordinary inhabitants are hidden in plain sight, their beauty revealed only to those who look closely. Among the leaves and slender branches, the glass frogs make their home. These tiny amphibians are so delicate that they seem almost unreal, their bodies perfectly adapted to a life of concealment. Their camouflage is not just a matter of color. The dorsal skin of a glass frog is a brilliant, leaf-like green, allowing it to vanish against the foliage. But the true marvel lies beneath. From above, the frog is nearly indistinguishable from the leaves it rests on, a living shadow in the dappled light. But from below, the illusion is even more astonishing. The skin on the frog's belly is completely transparent, offering a clear view of its internal organs, its beating heart, and even the faint outlines of its bones. This transparency is a unique adaptation, making the frog nearly invisible to predators lurking beneath the leaves, as its outline is broken up by the shifting patterns of light and shadow. To a predator scanning the canopy from below, the glass frog is little more than a ghostly silhouette, blending seamlessly into the living tapestry of the rainforest. In this world, every creature is both hunter and hunted. Camouflage, mimicry, and deception are essential tools in the daily struggle for survival, each adaptation honed by countless generations. But some of the Amazon's most remarkable residents are found not in the sunlit canopy, but in the perpetual twilight of caves and deep ravines. Here the oilbird reigns, a species so unique it stands alone in the avian world. The oilbird is the only bird on Earth that feeds exclusively on fruit at night. Its large, forward-facing eyes are adapted for low light, allowing it to navigate the darkness in search of ripe, aromatic fruits. But vision alone is not enough in the pitch-black depths of its cave roosts. To find its way, the oilbird has evolved a remarkable ability: echolocation. By emitting a rapid series of sharp, audible clicks, it can map its surroundings with astonishing accuracy. Each click bounces off the cave walls and obstacles, returning as echoes that the bird interprets with exquisite sensitivity. This natural sonar guides the oilbird through labyrinthine passages, allowing it to avoid hazards and locate food in total darkness. With this extraordinary adaptation, the oilbird can fly with precision through the inky blackness, weaving between stalactites and tree roots to find the fruits that sustain it. In the Amazon, every species is a testament to the power of evolution, each one perfectly tuned to the challenges of its world. Towering abruptly from the emerald expanse of the Amazonian lowlands, the Andes Mountains carve a formidable spine through the heart of Ecuador. Their jagged ridges and snow-dusted summits dominate the horizon, forming a dramatic natural barrier that shapes the climate, ecology, and very character of the land. Here the landscape is sculpted by extremes. Sheer cliffs plunge into shadowy valleys, while razor-edged peaks pierce the sky, their slopes etched by centuries of wind and rain. The air is crisp and thin, carrying the scent of stone and distant rain. The transition from the lush, humid rainforest below to these high-altitude realms is abrupt and profound. The dense, tangled canopy of the jungle gives way to open vistas and a cooler, more austere world. As elevation increases, the environment transforms. The air grows noticeably thinner and colder, and the vegetation shifts in response. Broadleaf trees are replaced by hardier, smaller species, and the undergrowth thins, revealing the contours of the land. Eventually, the forest morphs into a realm of perpetual mist, the cloud forest. Here, moisture-laden air from the lowlands is forced upward, cooling and condensing into a shroud of fog that envelops the mountainsides. The cloud forest is a world suspended between earth and sky. Thick banks of fog drift silently through the trees, their trunks and branches cloaked in a living tapestry of mosses and epiphytes. The air is saturated, every surface beaded with droplets that glisten in the filtered light. In this ethereal environment, sunlight struggles to penetrate the dense mist, casting the forest in a perpetual twilight. The atmosphere is hushed, broken only by the distant call of a bird or the soft patter of water dripping from leaf to leaf. Every tree is transformed into a vertical garden. Thick blankets of moss envelop the trunks and branches, while orchids and bromeliads cling to every available surface, their roots drawing sustenance from the ever-present moisture in the air. The forest floor is a mosaic of wet leaves and tangled roots, perpetually damp and alive with the subtle movements of insects and amphibians. Shafts of sunlight occasionally pierce the mist, illuminating clouds of vapor and turning droplets into tiny prisms. This constant humidity, combined with the cooler temperatures, has fostered the evolution of a highly specialized ecosystem. The cloud forest teems with life, especially birds, each species adapted to exploit a particular niche within this complex environment. The western slopes of the Ecuadorian Andes are a global hotspot for avian diversity, harboring more than 850 bird species. From iridescent tanagers to elusive ant pitas, the canopy and understory pulse with color and song. Yet life at these altitudes is not without its hardships. The terrain is unforgiving, steep, rocky, and often shrouded in cloud, with little shelter from the elements. Oxygen levels drop sharply as the elevation rises, making every breath a challenge. Nighttime temperatures can plunge below freezing, and sudden storms sweep across the peaks, bringing biting winds and icy rain. The animals that inhabit these heights are masters of adaptation. Each species has evolved unique strategies to survive the cold, the thin air, and the scarcity of food. Mammals and birds alike sport dense coats of fur or feathers, providing vital insulation against the chill. Some species have developed specialized metabolic rates, allowing them to conserve energy during the coldest hours. Among the most remarkable are the hummingbirds. These tiny, jewel-like creatures possess highly efficient respiratory and circulatory systems, enabling them to hover and dart through the thin mountain air in search of nectar, their wings a blur even at high altitude. Each inhabitant of the cloud forest is a testament to nature's ingenuity, biological marvels, perfectly attuned to the demands of their environment, thriving where few others could endure. The Andes themselves are a mosaic of habitats, each shaped by altitude, exposure, and the interplay of sun and cloud. No two slopes are exactly alike. Microclimates abound, fostering an astonishing diversity of life. Climbing higher, the lush cloud forest gradually yields to the paramo, a stark, windswept grassland that lies above the tree line, where only the hardiest plants can survive. The paramo is dominated by resilient grasses and the iconic frailejones, whose thick, fuzzy leaves are perfectly adapted to trap moisture and insulate against freezing temperatures. The landscape is open, exposed to relentless winds and sudden shifts in weather. Even in this seemingly desolate world, life endures. Small mammals and birds, specially adapted to the cold and scarcity, eke out a living among the tussocks and rocks, their survival a daily triumph over adversity. This remarkable vertical layering, From the steamy jungle floor through the misty cloud forest to the windswept Paramo creates a living tapestry of ecosystems. Each layer harbors its own community of highly specialized, often endemic species, making the Andes one of the world's greatest strongholds of biodiversity. High in the mist-shrouded Andean cloud forests, where the air is cool and the canopy is thick with moss and epiphytes, lives one of South America's most enigmatic and elusive creatures, the spectacled bear. This solitary mammal moves quietly through the dense undergrowth, its presence revealed only by fleeting glimpses among the shadows and the rustle of leaves overhead. The spectacled bear is the only bear species native to South America, a living relic descended from the mighty short-faced bears that once roamed the continent during the last ice age. Its lineage stretches back thousands of years, a testament to its resilience in these rugged highlands. The bear's name comes from the pale, cream-colored rings of fur encircling its eyes, which can resemble a pair of spectacles. Each bear's markings are unique, like a fingerprint, and these subtle patterns help camouflage them in the dappled light of the forest. Despite their size, adults can weigh up to 70 kilograms. Spectacled bears are remarkably agile climbers. With powerful limbs and curved claws, they ascend towering trees in search of food, moving with a grace that belies their bulk. From the safety of the canopy, they can scan the forest for ripe fruit and tender shoots. Their diet is predominantly vegetarian, consisting of a wide variety of plants, fruits, and bromeliads. They use their dexterous paws to strip leaves, pluck berries, and tear open the tough rosettes of bromeliads to reach the succulent core within. Yet for a brief window each year, the bear's foraging habits change dramatically as they seek out a rare and highly prized delicacy. Every October, as the seasons shift and the forest is painted with the first hints of gold and crimson, a remarkable transformation unfolds in the high Andes. The spectacled bears descend from their remote, high-altitude refuges, drawn by the scent of ripening wild avocados. These trees, scattered across the slopes, become magnets for the bears, who gorge themselves on the fatty, energy-rich fruits. Locally known as abacatillos, these wild avocados are packed with essential fats and nutrients, providing the bears with a vital energy boost before the leaner months ahead. The bears' powerful jaws make quick work of the tough skins, and their keen sense of smell helps them locate even the most well-hidden fruit. During this brief abundance, multiple bears may be seen in the same area, a rare sight for such solitary animals. The congregation around fruiting trees offers a fleeting opportunity to observe their interactions, cautious, often silent, but occasionally punctuated by low grunts or a warning huff. Despite their adaptability, the spectacled bear faces a perilous future. Their range is shrinking, and their populations are dwindling, making them one of the most endangered mammals in South America. The relentless advance of agriculture is carving up the cloud forest, replacing ancient trees with fields and pastures. Each year, more of their habitat is lost to deforestation, fragmenting the landscape and isolating bear populations. Occasionally, bears wander near farmland in search of food, leading to conflict with local farmers who fear for their crops and livestock. These encounters can be fatal for the bears, further threatening their survival. Only a small fraction of the Andean cloud forest is protected, leaving most spectacled bears vulnerable to the pressures of habitat loss and human encroachment. Their continued existence hangs in a delicate balance dependent on the preservation of these ancient forests. Yet the cloud forests are not only the domain of bears. They are alive with the vibrant colors and calls of some of the world's most spectacular birds, each adapted to the unique conditions of these high-altitude woodlands. Among the most iconic is the Andean cock of the rock, a bird whose striking appearance and dramatic behavior have made it a symbol of the cloud forest. As the first light of dawn filters through the mist, male cock of the rocks gather at traditional display sites known as leks. These gatherings are hidden deep within the forest, where the air is thick with anticipation. Here the males perform elaborate courtship dances, leaping and bowing, their brilliant scarlet-orange plumage glowing in the dim light. Each movement is precise, designed to catch the eye of a potential mate. They fan their crests and emit a series of guttural, almost otherworldly calls, creating a chorus that echoes through the trees. The display is both a test of stamina and a showcase of genetic fitness. Competition is fierce, with each male striving to outshine his rivals. The females, more subtly colored in shades of brown and gray, watch intently from the shadows, evaluating every nuance of the performance. Only the most impressive dancers will be chosen, ensuring that the next generation inherits the brightest colors and the strongest genes. The selection is silent but decisive as the females slip away with their chosen mates. This extraordinary ritual, hidden within the misty embrace of the forest, is a breathtaking spectacle of natural selection and survival, played out far from human eyes. The cloud forests are also home to another marvel, the hummingbird. These tiny, iridescent birds are among the most remarkable flyers in the animal kingdom. Their feathers shimmer with metallic hues, reflecting the filtered sunlight in flashes of emerald, sapphire, and ruby as they dart between blossoms. Hummingbirds feed on the nectar of countless flowers, their slender beaks perfectly adapted to probe deep into the corollas. Their wings beat so rapidly, up to 80 times per second, that they appear as a blur, allowing them to hover in place or even fly backwards with ease. This mastery of flight demands extraordinary energy. Hummingbirds must consume more than their own body weight in nectar each day, visiting hundreds of flowers in a single foraging circuit. Their metabolism is among the fastest in the animal world, and their tiny hearts can beat over 1,000 times per minute, pumping oxygen-rich blood to their flight muscles. To sustain this high-speed lifestyle, hummingbirds are in constant motion, pausing only briefly to drink before zipping off to the next bloom. Their hearts, no larger than a pea, beat with astonishing speed, a marvel of biological engineering that enables their aerial acrobatics. The Andes are a global epicenter for hummingbird diversity, with more species found here than anywhere else on Earth. Each valley and ridge harbors its own unique assemblage, shaped by the mountain's complex geography. Over millennia, the dramatic rise and fall of the Andean slopes has driven the evolution of new species, each adapted to the specific flowers and microclimates of their home range. Some hummingbirds have evolved long, curved beaks to reach the nectar of tubular flowers, while others possess short, straight bills for feeding on open blossoms. This intricate relationship between bird and plant is a masterpiece of coevolution, ensuring the survival of both in these high, cloud-wreathed forests. 1,000 kilometers off the coast of Ecuador, a scattered chain of volcanic islands emerges from the endless expanse of the Pacific Ocean. Their jagged silhouettes, sculpted by millennia of eruptions and relentless waves, rise starkly from the water, isolated and wild. This is the Galapagos Archipelago, a remote world forged by fire and water, where the boundaries between land and sea blur, and nature unfolds in its most raw and unspoiled form. The youngest islands are still dominated by vast, unyielding fields of black basalt, their surfaces fractured and sharp, stretching for kilometers with only the hardiest pioneer plants clinging to life. The air shimmers with heat above the stone, and the landscape is eerily silent, echoing the violence of its volcanic birth. Over countless generations, seeds, insects, and small animals arrived here by chance, carried by ocean currents, clinging to tangled mats of driftwood, or swept in by powerful storms. Each new arrival faced a world with almost no competition, and few, if any, natural predators. In this crucible of isolation, life began to diverge and adapt. Over time, the islands became a living laboratory where evolution could be observed in real time, species slowly transforming, each uniquely suited to the challenges of its particular island. The Galapagos are shaped not only by their volcanic origins, but by the powerful ocean currents that swirl around them. The relentless surge of water carves the coastline, while the rhythm of tides and waves dictates the daily life of every creature here. The cold, nutrient-laden Humboldt Current sweeps northward from the Antarctic, colliding with warmer equatorial waters. This dynamic meeting of currents stirs the ocean into a nutrient-rich soup, fueling an explosion of marine productivity. Despite their equatorial location, the islands are surprisingly cool and arid. Misty garua drifts over the rocky shores, and beneath the surface, forests of kelp sway in the chilly water, sheltering a dazzling array of marine life. These nutrient-rich waters sustain immense schools of fish, sleek sea lions darting through the surf, and even the largest creatures on Earth, whales that breach and feed in the deep channels between the islands. Yet this delicate system is acutely sensitive to changes in ocean temperature. When warm currents replace the cold, life here is thrown into turmoil. Food becomes scarce, and the intricate balance that sustains the island's wildlife is threatened. It was on these shores, in the shadow of ancient volcanoes, that Charles Darwin found inspiration for his revolutionary ideas. The islands, untouched and enigmatic, offered a window into the mechanisms of life itself. Darwin meticulously observed the subtle distinctions between animals on different islands, variations so slight yet so significant that they hinted at the hidden forces shaping all living things. Among the most striking were the finches, whose beaks had evolved into a remarkable array of shapes and sizes. Each beak was a perfect tool, honed by generations to exploit a specific food source, seeds, insects, or nectar, on its home island. The giant tortoises, too, bore the marks of adaptation. Their shells, domed or saddle-backed, reflected the demands of their environment, whether reaching for high vegetation or grazing on low-lying plants. Here, the slow, relentless process of natural selection could be seen in action. Over countless generations, species diverged and changed, each new trait a response to the challenges of survival in this isolated world. The Galapagos remain a sanctuary for some of the world's most extraordinary creatures. Marine iguanas basking on sun-baked rocks, blue-footed boobies performing elaborate courtship displays, and sea lions gliding effortlessly through crystalline waters. With no native land predators, the animals here display a remarkable lack of fear. Birds and reptiles go about their lives undisturbed, often approaching with curiosity rather than caution. On the beaches, sea lions sprawl in the sun, their sleek bodies glistening against the black volcanic sand. Blue-footed boobies, with their vivid feet, engage in intricate dances, while marine iguanas gather in dense colonies, absorbing the warmth of the rocks after foraging in the cold sea. The absence of fear allows for an unparalleled glimpse into the daily lives of these animals. Every interaction, every adaptation is on full display, offering a rare and intimate perspective on the workings of nature. As dawn breaks over the islands, the land and sea are bathed in golden light. Wildlife moves through the landscape, undisturbed and at peace, as if time itself has slowed. In this untouched world, the wonders of evolution and adaptation are revealed in their purest form, a living testament to the enduring power and creativity of nature. The Galapagos Islands are a realm where reptiles reign supreme, and among them the marine iguana stands as a living emblem of evolutionary ingenuity. With their rough, charcoal-hued scales and spiky crests, these remarkable lizards are perfectly camouflaged against the jagged volcanic rocks that line the shores. Unique among all lizards on Earth, the marine iguana has evolved to thrive in the ocean, venturing into the chilly Pacific waters in search of sustenance. When Charles Darwin first encountered these creatures, he described them as disgusting, clumsy lizards. Yet beneath their awkward gait lies a story of extraordinary adaptation and survival, honed over countless generations. At low tide, marine iguanas slip silently into the frigid surf, their bodies streamlined for aquatic life. They graze on green and red algae that cling to the submerged volcanic rocks, scraping the slippery growth with their razor-sharp teeth. Propelled by powerful laterally flattened tails, they glide effortlessly through the water, their limbs tucked close to their bodies. These reptiles can remain submerged for up to 10 minutes, their hearts slowing to conserve oxygen as they forage in the cold depths. After each dive, the iguanas haul themselves onto the sun-baked rocks, their dark skin absorbing the sun's warmth. This rapid heating is vital as the cold ocean saps their body temperature, leaving them sluggish and vulnerable. Life in the sea brings another challenge. Salt. With every mouthful of algae, marine iguanas ingest seawater, accumulating salt that would be lethal to most terrestrial animals. Ingeniously, the marine iguana has developed a specialized adaptation to rid itself of this excess salt. Deep within their skulls, salt glands are connected to their nasal passages. These glands extract salt from the bloodstream, concentrating it into a briny solution. With a sudden, forceful sneeze, the iguana expels this salty residue in a fine, crystalline spray, leaving a dusting of white on their snouts. Along the rocky shores, clusters of marine iguanas bask together, their bodies pressed close for warmth. Periodically, a cloud of salt erupts from their nostrils, a testament to their mastery of this harsh environment. This remarkable adaptation allows marine iguanas to exploit a food source that no other lizard can reach, carving out a unique ecological niche on these volcanic islands. Sharing these islands is another reptilian marvel, the Galapagos giant tortoise. With their immense domed shells and slow, deliberate movements, these ancient creatures embody the endurance of life in isolation. Some individuals tip the scales at over 400 kilograms and can live for more than a century, making them the largest and longest-lived tortoises on the planet. For generations, the origins of these gentle giants were shrouded in mystery, their presence on these remote islands a puzzle for naturalists. Modern genetic studies have revealed that their ancestors were land-dwelling tortoises from the South American mainland, not marine turtles as once speculated. It is believed that, swept away by powerful floods, these tortoises embarked on an unthinkable journey, adrift for weeks on mats of vegetation, carried by ocean currents until they finally reached the Galapagos archipelago. Once ashore, isolated populations of tortoises evolved into distinct subspecies, each with shell shapes and sizes finely tuned to the demands of their specific island habitats. On islands, where lush vegetation carpets the ground, tortoises developed rounded, dome-shaped shells, allowing them to graze easily on low-lying plants. In contrast, on arid islands where food is scarce and grows higher, tortoises evolved saddleback shells, with raised fronts that enable them to stretch their necks upward to reach prickly cacti and shrubs. This adaptation grants them access to food sources beyond the reach of their dome-shelled relatives, a subtle but vital difference in the struggle for survival. Despite their resilience, these giants have faced grave threats from introduced predators and habitat loss, their numbers dwindling over the centuries. Today, the future of the Galapagos tortoise rests on the success of conservation efforts, as hatchlings emerge from their nests and begin the slow journey toward adulthood, carrying with them the legacy of one of nature's most extraordinary odysseys. The Galapagos Islands are a living laboratory of evolution, and nowhere is this more evident than in their remarkable bird life. Here, on these isolated volcanic outcrops, birds have adapted in extraordinary ways, filling ecological niches found nowhere else on Earth. Each species tells a story of survival, adaptation, and the relentless forces of natural selection. Among the most iconic of these avian residents is the blue-footed booby, a bird whose very name evokes curiosity and wonder. With its striking plumage and unmistakable turquoise feet, the blue-footed booby is a symbol of the island's unique biodiversity. The vivid blue coloration of their feet is not merely decorative. It is the result of carotenoid pigments obtained from their diet of fresh fish and serves as a direct indicator of the bird's health and vitality. During the breeding season, these birds engage in elaborate displays, lifting their feet high and presenting them to potential mates. The intensity of the blue is a reliable signal. Only the healthiest individuals can afford to produce and maintain such vibrant hues. The spectrum of blue, from pale turquoise to deep cobalt, is a visual language understood by the boobies alone. Females scrutinize the shade, selecting partners whose feet shine brightest in the equatorial sun. The courtship ritual is a carefully choreographed performance. Males parade before females, lifting each foot in exaggerated high-stepping motions, their heads bobbing in rhythm with the dance. Each step is deliberate, each display a testament to the bird's fitness. The female observes intently, her choice guided by the subtle cues of color and movement. This ritual, repeated year after year, is a vital part of the species' reproductive success, ensuring that only the fittest genes are passed on to the next generation. Sharing the skies with the boobies is another marvel of avian evolution, the magnificent frigate bird. With its slender silhouette and deeply forked tail, the frigate bird is a master of aerial prowess. Their wings, spanning over 2 meters, allow them to soar for hours on end, riding the thermals and ocean breezes with barely a wing beat. They are perfectly adapted for life above the open sea, rarely landing except to breed. During the breeding season, the males gather in low coastal shrubs, transforming the landscape with their dramatic courtship displays. To attract a mate, a male inflates his gular sac, a brilliant scarlet balloon that swells beneath his beak. The display is both audacious and beautiful, a beacon visible from great distances. With wings outstretched and bodies trembling, the males call out in a chorus of rattling sounds, hoping to entice a female to descend from the sky and choose them as a partner. Yet, for all their aerial mastery, frigate birds possess a surprising vulnerability. Their feathers lack the waterproofing found in other seabirds, making them unable to dive for fish. Instead, they have evolved a strategy of piracy. With astonishing agility, they pursue other seabirds in flight, harassing them until they relinquish their hard-won catch, which the frigate bird then deftly snatches from mid-air. The absence of natural predators on these islands has allowed birds to evolve in unexpected directions, resulting in a host of unusual adaptations that defy conventional expectations. Nowhere is this more apparent than in the flightless cormorant, a bird found only on the remote shores of Fernandina and Isabella Islands. This species is unique among the world's cormorants, having lost the ability to fly entirely, a rare trait in a family otherwise defined by strong, agile flyers. Over countless generations, the cormorant's wings have shrunk to mere stubs, no longer capable of lifting the bird into the air. With no terrestrial predators to escape, flight became unnecessary, and energy was redirected to other adaptations. Instead, the flightless cormorant has become a master of the underwater realm. Using its powerful legs and webbed feet, it propels itself with remarkable speed and agility, diving deep to pursue fish, eels, and octopus along the rocky seabed. This remarkable transformation is a living testament to the power of evolution, demonstrating how traits can be lost or gained in response to the demands of a unique environment. The Galapagos also serve as a sanctuary for the waved albatross, a species whose entire global population breeds almost exclusively on Espanola Island. Here, on wind-swept cliffs and open grasslands, these majestic birds gather each year to raise their young. For most of their lives, waved albatrosses are creatures of the open ocean, gliding effortlessly over vast distances, their wings barely touching the air. Only the urge to breed draws them back to land. Upon their return, pairs reunite in a display of fidelity and coordination. Their courtship dance is a complex ritual involving synchronized movements, gentle bill fencing, and a series of precise, graceful gestures. The birds circle one another, clacking their beaks in a rhythmic duet, bowing and stretching their necks in a ballet that reaffirms their lifelong bond. Yet this delicate cycle is under threat. The waved albatross's dependence on a single breeding site leaves it perilously exposed to the impacts of climate change, shifting weather patterns, and fluctuations in food supply. The future of this species, like so many in the Galapagos, hangs in a fragile balance, shaped by forces both ancient and alarmingly new. Across Ecuador, from the emerald depths of the Amazon to the volcanic shores of the Galapagos, life flourishes in forms found nowhere else on Earth. These regions are sanctuaries for rare and remarkable creatures, each uniquely adapted to the challenges of their environment. Our journey has taken us through the shrouded mists of cloud forests, where ancient trees drip with moss and orchids, and into the sun-drenched canopies of the Amazon, alive with the calls of unseen birds and the rustle of hidden mammals. We have walked the blackened lava fields of the Galapagos, where the land meets the restless sea in a world shaped by fire and water. We have witnessed the spectacled bear, South America's only bear, scaling towering trees in search of ripe fruit, its movements both powerful and gentle. We have marveled at the iridescent hummingbird, wings ablur as it hovers to sip nectar, a living jewel suspended in mid-air. And we have watched the marine iguana, a relic of ancient times, slip beneath the waves to graze on underwater algae, its body perfectly suited to both land and sea. Each animal is a product of countless generations of evolution, shaped by the demands of its habitat. Their fur, feathers, scales, and behaviors are all finely tuned to the rhythms of the forest, the ocean, and the volcanic islands they call home. The intricate relationships between these species, predator and prey, pollinator and plant, hunter and hunted, form a living web, a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of nature itself. Yet beneath this vibrant surface, a silent struggle is unfolding. The animals of Ecuador face mounting challenges that threaten their very existence. The threats are relentless and intensifying, driven by forces that reshape the land and sea with alarming speed. In the Amazon and the Andes, vast tracts of ancient forest are being felled, replaced by fields and pastures. Chainsaws and bulldozers carve roads through once impenetrable wilderness, leaving behind a patchwork of cleared earth and broken canopy. Jaguars, once rulers of the forest, now prowl shrinking territories, their paths blocked by barren land. The spectacled bear, dependent on vast ranges for food and shelter, finds its home fragmented by mining and agriculture. Every tree lost is a shelter gone, every patch of forest cleared is a step closer to extinction for countless species. As their habitats vanish, animals are forced to wander in search of food and safety, often venturing into unfamiliar and perilous territory. Many do not survive the journey. The loss of habitat ripples outward, destabilizing entire ecosystems. Soil erodes from bare hillsides, rivers run muddy, and the delicate balance that sustains life is thrown into chaos. Rainfall patterns shift, and the very foundation of the forest begins to crumble. In the Galapagos, the dangers are no less grave, though they take a different form. Here, the ocean is the lifeblood of the islands, its currents bringing nutrients that sustain a dazzling array of marine life. But the warming of the seas, driven by climate change, is disrupting these ancient currents. The cold, nutrient-rich waters that once surged around the islands are replaced by warmer, less fertile flows, leaving marine creatures to struggle for survival. During El Niño events, the algae that marine iguanas depend on withers away, leaving them to starve. Sea lions and Galapagos penguins, once abundant, find fewer and fewer fish, their young left hungry as the food chain collapses. The consequences are stark: mass starvation, failed breeding seasons, and populations that dwindle with each passing year. Invasive species compound the crisis. Rats and feral cats, introduced by humans, stalk the nests of native birds and reptiles. With no natural defenses, eggs and hatchlings fall easy prey, and entire generations can be lost in a single season. The battle to preserve Ecuador's wildlife is a race against time, a struggle to safeguard not just individual species, but the intricate systems that support all life. The current rate of extinction is unprecedented. hundreds of times faster than the natural background rate. Species that took millennia to evolve are vanishing in the blink of an eye. Yet, even in the face of such loss, hope endures. Across Ecuador, dedicated efforts are underway to restore what has been lost. Forests are being replanted, invasive species removed, and fragile habitats protected with vigilance and care. New national parks are established to shield vital ecosystems. Reforestation projects breathe life back into barren landscapes. Local communities are empowered with knowledge, fostering a culture of stewardship and coexistence with the wild. To protect these extraordinary animals and their homes is to preserve the living tapestry of Ecuador, a mosaic of life woven over millions of years that enriches our planet and inspires awe in all who witness its wonders. As dawn breaks over Ecuador's wild places, the land stirs with the quiet promise of renewal. In the Amazon, the first rays of sunlight pierce the mist, glinting off droplets clinging to the leaves. Hidden among the undergrowth, a group of golden-mantled tamarins forages for fruit, their calls echoing softly through the trees, a chorus that has greeted each new day for generations. Above them, a harpy eagle sits silent, its fierce gaze surveying the canopy, a sentinel for a forest in transition. On the slopes of the Andes, the high-altitude Paramo glows with morning frost. Here, the endangered Andean condor spreads its immense wings and rides the rising thermals, tracing ancient pathways in the sky. Below, delicate frailejones plants stand sentinel, their fuzzy leaves capturing the moisture of the clouds, sustaining rivers that flow to distant lowlands. This fragile ecosystem, shaped by millennia of adaptation, holds secrets still being discovered. Microbes in the soil, tiny amphibians in hidden pools, each playing a part in the endless cycle of life. Far out in the Pacific, the Galapagos Islands awaken to the song of the lava heron. Marine iguanas bask on sun-warmed rocks, their bodies absorbing the heat that will power their next underwater forage. In the tidal pools, Sally Lightfoot crabs scuttle in flashes of red and blue, scavenging among the volcanic stones. Overhead, a Galapagos hawk circles, its sharp eyes searching for movement in the scrub below. Yet the future of these wild places is not written. The land and its inhabitants are shaped by forces both ancient and new. Climate, geology, the relentless pulse of evolution, and the shadow of change cast by the modern world. In every corner of Ecuador's natural realms, life adapts and endures, finding new ways to persist. Orchids bloom in the dappled light, seeds carried by the wind to fertile ground. River dolphins navigate shifting channels, guided by memory and instinct. Giant tortoises lumber across the highlands, their slow journey a testament to patience and resilience. The echoes of the future resonate through every call, every wingbeat, every whisper of wind in the forest. Nature's story in Ecuador is one of transformation, of ancient wonders and emerging hope, of challenges met with ingenuity and strength. As long as the forests stand, as long as rivers flow and islands rise from the sea, the wild heart of Ecuador will endure, inviting us to listen, to learn, and to imagine what wonders the next dawn will bring. Beneath the emerald canopy and above the restless waves, Ecuador's wild nature beats with a pulse as ancient as the land itself. In the tangled heart of Yasuni, a jaguar pads silently along a muddy riverbank, its rosetted coat blending with the shadows. Eyes sharp, muscles coiled, it pauses, a living whisper, in a world woven from silence and sudden movement. In the labyrinth of flooded forest, electric eels ripple through dark waters, sending out gentle pulses to map their world. Nearby, pink river dolphins glide with impossible grace, their bodies curving through channels shaped by the seasonal rise and fall of the Amazon's veins. Each movement, each breath, is part of a hidden choreography, a dance practiced for millennia. High in the mist-shrouded cloud forests, glass frogs cling to broad leaves, their translucent skin revealing the quiet rhythm of life within. Orchids bloom in cascades of color, petals opening to the touch of a single unseen pollinator, a tiny bat, its wings dusted with pollen, weaving through the twilight. Out on the wind-lashed cliffs of the Galapagos, waves crash in thunderous applause. Sea lions tumble and play in the surf, their sleek forms twisting between the rocks, while frigate birds soar overhead, their wings catching the updrafts that rise from the churning sea. On the black sand beaches, the tracks of green sea turtles trace a silent story of return and renewal, written anew with every tide. In the volcanic highlands, hummingbirds flash like living jewels among the blooms of Chuquiragua, their wings beating a blur, a heartbeat of the mountains. Each sip of nectar ties them to the land, a fragile thread in the vast interconnected web of life. Here in the wild places untouched by human hands, the pulse of Ecuador's nature continues, steady, resilient, and ever-changing. It is a rhythm shaped by storms and sunlight, by predator and prey, by the ceaseless interplay of creation and decay. The land remembers every footfall, every flutter, every breath. As dusk settles and shadows stretch across the land, a chorus rises, frogs, insects, birds, and beasts, each voice adding to the living symphony. In this fleeting moment, the wild heart of Ecuador beats on, timeless and untamed, echoing through the forests, mountains, and islands, inviting us to marvel at the wonder of a world still ruled by nature's pulse. Beneath the surface of Ecuador's wild domains, unseen forces are at work, creatures whose lives shape the very fabric of these ecosystems. Deep within the Amazonian soil, armies of leaf-cutter ants march in tireless procession, carrying emerald fragments above their heads like tiny banners. Each ant knows its role, and together they sculpt vast subterranean cities, chambers alive with the hum of activity. Above ground, their trails carve through the undergrowth, channels of life that feed the forest's endless appetite for renewal. In the heart of the cloud forest, a colony of stingless bees weaves intricate hives within the hollow of an ancient tree. Their tiny bodies shimmer in the filtered light as they flit from flower to flower, orchestrating the invisible ballet of pollination. The forest responds in kind, exploding in bursts of color, petals unfurling in anticipation of the next gentle visitor. On the Galapagos shores, ghost crabs emerge at dusk, their pale forms scuttling across the black sands. They dig elaborate burrows, reshaping the coastline grain by grain. Each movement aerates the earth, preparing the way for new life as the tide recedes. In the volcanic highlands, burrowing owls claim abandoned tortoise nests, transforming them into safe havens. With wide, alert eyes, they stand sentinel over the windswept plains, guardians of a fragile balance. In every corner of Ecuador's wilderness, these silent architects labor unseen. Their work is slow, deliberate, measured not in minutes but in seasons, in generations. They build, they nurture, they transform. Without their quiet industry, the chorus of life would falter. The tapestry of wild nature would unravel. As night deepens and the world quiets, the evidence of their craft remains. Burrows in the sand, tunnels in the earth, blossoms heavy with promise. In the stillness, the land breathes, shaped by millions of tireless lives, each one an unsung thread in the enduring masterpiece of Ecuador's untamed wilds. As dusk melts into darkness, a new world awakens beneath Ecuador's restless skies. The hush of daylight gives way to a symphony of nocturnal voices, each call a heartbeat in the living night. In the shadowed understory of the Amazon, the eyes of a spectacled caiman glint above the water's surface, motionless but alert. Nearby, a chorus of glass frogs begins, their translucent bodies pulsing with each resonant chirp, their delicate skin glowing softly under the moon's gaze. In the cloud forest, the air thickens with mist and anticipation. Moths the size of a human hand flutter silently, their wings patterned like fallen leaves. Bats swoop in acrobatic arcs, weaving through tangled branches as they hunt for fruit and insects. Every movement is purposeful, every shadow alive with possibility. On the slopes of a Galapagos volcano, the island night is punctuated by the slow, deliberate crawl of a giant centipede. Its many legs ripple across the cooling lava rock, searching for prey. Above, the calls of lava herons echo, sharp and plaintive as they stalk along moonlit tidal pools. Hidden in the high Andes, the elusive Andean night monkey stirs. Its wide, luminous eyes scan the darkness, navigating the canopy in silence. A distant rumble hints at the presence of a mountain tapir, moving with surprising grace through the thick bamboo, its passage marked only by the faint rustle of leaves. Across Ecuador's wild domains, night is not a time of rest but of renewal, a shifting tapestry of hunters and hunted, of hidden beauty and secret lives. As stars wheel above, the land pulses with stories written in shadow and song. The rhythm of the night endures, ancient and unbroken, carrying the wild heart of Ecuador into a new dawn. Beneath the tangled roots and fallen leaves, a silent civilization thrives, hidden from the gaze of day and night alike. Here, in the unseen world below Ecuador's forests, life is orchestrated by tireless engineers, the insects, fungi, and microbes that shape the very foundation of the wild. Deep within the Amazon's rich earth, a network of leafcutter ants marches in perfect formation. Each ant bears a fragment of green above its head, parading it through winding tunnels to nourish their subterranean fungus gardens. Their colony, a living labyrinth, pulses with purpose, every chamber a testament to cooperation, every tunnel a corridor of survival. Elsewhere, in the volcanic soils of the highlands, earthworms burrow endlessly, turning and aerating the ground. Their movements weave unseen highways, transforming decaying matter into fertile loam. Around them, mycelium threads, delicate but persistent, connect tree roots in a vast, silent web, sharing nutrients and silent messages across the forest floor. Termites sculpt cathedral-like mounds from mud and saliva, their spires rising just above the leaf litter. Inside, climate-controlled chambers shelter eggs and larvae, while workers tend to gardens of symbiotic fungi, a miniature metropolis thriving in the dark. Among stones slick with mountain mist, beetles and millipedes break down the forest's fallen bounty, recycling the nutrients that feed towering trees above. Even the smallest creatures play a critical role. Springtails and mites dart between grains of soil, keeping the ecosystem in delicate balance. In this hidden realm, the architects of life labor unseen, their quiet industry sustaining the wild wonders we witness above. The pulse of Ecuador's wilderness is not only written in the call of birds or the prowl of jaguars, but in the ceaseless, silent work beneath our feet. A world where survival depends on collaboration, transformation, and the secrets held within the soil. Above the secret world, beneath the soil, another lifeline winds its way through Ecuador's wild heart, the rivers. Born high in the Andean glaciers, they carve their journey through cloud forests, canyons, and dense Amazonian jungle, carrying with them the stories of countless lives. At dawn, mist clings to the water's surface, veiling the slow emergence of river dolphins, their sleek bodies slicing through the glassy calm. In the tangled backwaters, caimans drift motionless, eyes just above the surface, while brightly coloured poison dart frogs leap from leaf to leaf along the banks, each call echoing across the shallows. Underneath the water's surface, the river teems with life. Schools of armoured catfish scour the sandy bottom, while electric eels weave silently through submerged roots, sending out pulses in search of prey. Giant river otters, playful yet fierce, patrol their territories, communicating with chirps and whistles as they slip between the shadows. On overhanging branches, hutsins, a relic from an ancient lineage, balance awkwardly, their chicks scrambling back to safety with clawed wings if they tumble into the water below. Swarms of butterflies gather at the river's edge, their wings flickering like jewels as they drink from mineral-rich puddles. As the sun arcs overhead, the river's tempo shifts, Capybaras wade into the shallows, grazing on lush grasses, while anacondas slither unseen beneath floating mats of vegetation. Above, kingfishers and herons stand sentinel, plunging down with lightning speed to snatch a fish from the current. When dusk falls, the river transforms once more. Fireflies blink in the humid air, their lights mirrored in the gentle ripples below. Bats skim the surface, hunting insects drawn by the fading light. The chorus of frogs swells, a symphony that echoes through the darkness, celebrating the river's eternal flow. In Ecuador's wilderness, rivers are more than mere pathways. They are the veins of the land, nourishing every creature, shaping every forest, and whispering the ancient secrets of life itself.